how's it going? I hope you're doing just as good as I'm doing today, because I had an unnaturally good day for what's been going on. But, just getting into it, squats actually felt really easy. I never thought there'd be a day where I'd say 375 was some easy repping, but man, the fifth set moved nearly as fast as the first, and my clean and jerk form has gotten really good. There's a couple that I feel like I didn't put my all into, but I feel like I brought it back really well towards the end. And I couldn't be happier being able to progress on my form and do better in the moment. But physically, I will give it an 8.5. It was a really good day. I'm not as I feel like when I hit a peak week and I try some actual new heavy shit, that gets my ego going a little bit. I really, it hits you differently in the mental energy, but regardless, it everything went great. But mentally, I'm gonna give it a 9.25. Very, very good. Again, I'm gonna get into what's been going on in my life, but I had the homies today. I'm back at the good old gym that I've been going to. Had good support. I've been able to talk about what I need to talk about to those who appreciate me and will help me out, and not just blind support. It's that good kind of support where they're not going to try to shove logic down your throat, but they're going to try to help you see all sides of what you're feeling. And it's a wonderful thing to have unconditionally with people that you don't expect anything from. But basically, I'm going to talk about my very new experiences of becoming independent, and not just when I say, everybody's going to always assume it's oh, are you paying all your bills now on your own? It's that's not what I'm really talking about per se. That's always a part of it. But there's independence when it comes to the material things in life, and independence when it comes to your individual life. The personal aspirations you have, your mental health, and the way that you interact with the people in your close inner circle. Me personally, I don't know who's gonna relate to this, but I'm sure a lot of people got it, but we got some daddy issues. I hate saying that, but it sounds funny, whatever. But we've always been back and forth in our relationship. I feel like I have done my absolute hardest to not change him, because I know he's never going to change in the things that he suffers with. Your textbook alcoholism, narcissism type stuff. And it's two minds clashing because we both believe we are in the right and we both want what's best for each other. And so with that, I have given up on trying to change him a long time ago. You get to learn that pretty early on when your parents split up at a younger age, which, again, no regrets. I love the way that I've turned out. But it's a constant battle if you're going to keep these kinds of people in your life. And it reached a breaking point literally last night. If you saw the video yesterday, I was rushing to dinner, and it did not go as planned. Let's just say that. But whatever he had been holding in for however many years because of him not wanting to hurt my feelings, and whatever I was not telling him because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. Again, it's not like I was withholding the truth, but I didn't feel a need to dig into him, and he didn't feel a need to dig into me. But we both reached a point where, again, I didn't start it, thankfully. I don't think that I'm the kind of guy that would just lash out like he had. But it reached that breaking point. It's the idea of man, it's as much as it sucks to know that I'll never be able to see him the same. It's more baffling when you become the target of that kind of behavior. I don't know who's going to be able to relate to that, and it's okay if you don't. But again, these videos are very therapeutic to me, and I think if whatever I can say, someone else might be able to latch onto at all in any minor or in any minor significant way. I think that's very important. So it got to the point. The layman's terms of it, he has built a life around him supporting everyone in his life and taking responsibility for everybody in his life, and at the same time unsubconsciously neglecting his own personal responsibilities. I don't mean the normal life stuff with finances and your job and your career or whatever. I'm talking about his like mental and personal well-being and his actions toward others. He has always neglected those interactions, and because he's built a life around this, he fully believes that this is how it's meant to be, you know. And I even though it's like he wants us to live by his way, in reality he just sees it as the way, you know, and not even his way. It just is the way that he thinks that it should be in life. And so you know, you get hit like a truck when you hear that kind of shit, especially from a parent. You know, you figured that these people raised you and you wouldn't have to be an adult in the situation with them, you know. But regardless of that, the main things that were brought up was, because there's no point getting in the nitty gritty, but the main issues that were that have been at a crossroad, you know, it's been impassable because of us trying to do our own thing in our lives, and it just came down to the fact of he believes that someone in our family needs to take care of the rest of the family for him when he doesn't want to or when he can't, and he should be able to if he's the one who made the family, in my opinion. I think if you're going to go out of your way and make a family, then yeah, you should be responsible. But I'm my own person, you know. I'm not saying this in any way to get on any parent's nerve, but it's the parent's decision to have the kid. I will always be very respectful and very grateful for what he's supplied to me in my life, and I will never be ignorant enough to say it's all bad. We have had very great moments together, but it's gotten to the point where he thinks that I need to be responsible for everybody like he has, and I need to throw away everything I want to do in life, and I need to go get that doctor money and do whatever it takes to make my family run and disregard myself personally. And I've stated this several times, and I think that people cannot function in life without having their personal shit together. Like with my dad, he cannot function in a family, and he can't function emotionally as well, because he has put so much precedence over his career and his financial support, when that's not even, it shouldn't even be what's most important, you know. It's always going to be important, and I respect the fuck out of it, but man, you got to be there for your loved ones personally, and more than that, you got to be there for yourself personally. You got to really be able to lift yourself up, so that, I've said it so many times, the good interactions and oh shit, there's a fire truck. Sorry, I'm getting cut off a little bit. Anyway, wow, look at them go. Sorry, that's a little awkward. But I've always said this, the main, like, what's so important about keeping yourself together personally and not just career-wise and financially, is that all of the human interaction and support that you give and receive in life is meant to be icing on the cake of your life, you know? Not saying that everybody revolves around you, but I'm saying that your life should be like your first priority, you know? Not to say that you can't put in any support to other people, but your life needs to come first. And so if you have your own shit together, then you can support that icing on your cake, to be metaphorical. And he's never been able to support his own icing, you know, his family and his friends and his loved ones. It's always been about the fine print material goods that he thinks people need to live. And regardless of all that, you know, I still love him. He's my dad. You know, I'm sure things will shake out somehow. At least I know I will. You know, I'm confident enough to know that I will be, because I know my cake isn't falling over anytime soon. I got my shit together. Doesn't matter if I'm not making $1 million an hour. Like, I got my shit together, and I know I'm going to be happy. But the main thing that I've come to terms with this is it's understanding that I cannot jeopardize my own life and my own independence for the sake of these other people. It's not, I don't mean this to say, I don't say this to seem childish, but it's not fair. You know, I get life isn't fair, whatever. You can say that all you want, but it's not fair to the individual that they cannot live their life as they so please. I would rather my dad commit to a mindset and just dip out like most dads do, rather than staying in the middle area trying to be someone he's not, because it makes so much more hurt and so much more turmoil. I'm not saying I don't want him in my life. Of course I want him in my life, but like shit, you know, it gets to a point where if he's not going to change and I'm not going to change, then go your merry way, you know, support yourself, and I'm going to be fine, and I know he's going to be fine. So that I guess that's what I mean by like understanding your own independence as you get older, you know, regardless of whatever traumas or unfortunate shit you go through, because you don't have to go through trauma to feel this way, but you get to a point where you're like, man, no one's waiting up on me and no one's gonna be able to pick up my shit except for me. That was one thing my dad could not wrap his head around, because he fully believes that everybody is completely codependent on him, and it's something I was unable to explain, which again, that's what happens when people don't want to change or stay open-minded, is that no matter what I do in my entire life, no matter how much money I have and how much support it seems I'm giving, the people around me are going to figure out their own lives, because their own life is their own responsibility. You know, nobody can pick up your own life except for you. When people say that happiness and like your joy and passion and satisfaction in life is a choice, it is in the sense of it is up to you to make the moves that are going to make you that person. No one else is waiting around for you. But the people who are the happiest in life, regardless of how much shit they do that hurts other people, they're living the way they want to. And that's how it works. You know, you got different brains in one world, and there's going to be clashing. So while I'm going to do my absolute best, and I know for a fact I'm going to be okay, I got to maintain me. And regardless of what happens out of this situation, because nothing's been worked out, unfortunately, I have my shit together. And I know that for a fact. And I know my family, even if they don't, and any of my loved ones, even if they don't, everybody that I know and care about, and any person, even if I don't know you, you all have the potential to get your shit together. It is always more simple than the world makes it out to be. It's only as convoluted as you make it. And, you know, if you're happy by these small things, then just do those small things. Like, shit, I spend a lot of my time not working as hard as most people are working their 9 to 5, going 12 hours work days, and that's great if that's what your standard of satisfaction is, but that's not me, you know? And if I got to do it and be happy in whatever career I want to do, that's different. But at the moment, I'm choosing to move forward for myself, and I cannot bring myself to conform to someone else's beliefs when they are purely negative and unhelpful to the majority. You know, you should always keep your own shit stable first. But when you have a circle of people, it's a privilege to have those people in your life, and to treat them like they are lesser than you is a mistake. And regardless of what you have to go through to see these kinds of things, or whatever happens to you that you shouldn't really have to go through, but whatever shapes you out, everybody's got the capability to be better, and everybody's got the capabilities to be a good person and live a happy life without needing all the extra bullshit in between. I guarantee you, not tomorrow, certainly not next week or next month, but one of these years, I promise you, my dad's gonna come back and be like, shit, maybe I fucked up a little bit, you know? I know I've done that. I've got people that that like, if I ever run into certain people that I've had bad conversations with, I will smush that shit right away, because I'm at the point where I can communicate that now. And although more experienced and older than me, my dad is not at a point in his life yet where he can communicate those feelings to other people. So although it seems shameful, I don't see it that way. Everybody's got a different starting line in life, and everybody finishes at a different pace. So while he may be good at life stuff and making money at a really fast pace, when it comes to the emotional stuff and the communication, it might take him a little longer. But I'm not here to wait around. I'm going to go do my life. And if he comes back one day and he's a better person, then all the better. You know, I'm open-minded, and I'll never hold a grudge or hold regrets. So regardless of the person, you know, if people can turn it around. You know, it's totally up to you if you want to change. And if you're going to remain stagnant, then yeah, you're not going to change. If you can't not bend your will or conform to what other people want, but conform to the happiness of the people that you interact with, you know? Like, again, if it's bringing you down, that's different. But what my dad doesn't bring him down. It brings other people down. And that's what's the major difference is. That's the major hard-hitting fact that he will come to terms with eventually. Probably not anytime soon, but for my sake and his sake, you know goddamn well I'm going to be happy no matter what I do. So that's what's important to me. So I'm living my life, and you go live your life. You know, take it with a grain of salt. Do what you will with said information. But you know what? Pumpkin pie ice cream is calling my name. And yeah, I know it was a little deep. I apologize for that. But, you know, whatever. We love talking about our bullshit. So it makes me feel better. And I hope that anybody could latch onto any one small thing I may have mentioned. So enjoy yourself. That's all I got. Bye.